I've been in the air about 35 minutes. It's 20 after 2. Cloud base is only a little more than 3,000 feet above the ground. Very tough to go cross country that low. There's the Mississippi. You might see a bunch of barges there being pushed or floated down the river. Already getting some pretty large clouds and overdeveloped areas. I'm trying to stay out over sunny ground. A thermal can build up a big cloud, and then that cloud shades the ground and cuts off the thermal and other thermals that would have otherwise formed in that area. And right there you can barely see it as the remnants of a rain shower. Already saw a rain shower between me and the airport. So I'm gonna have to go where the lift will let me go, but I also have to keep landing options. Right now the only two I have are where I took off and a little private residential airstrip, grass strip right near the river. I may have to use that as an option just for safety, but I really don't want to land there just because I don't think I'd be able to take off from there. And we just have to drive back across the Mississippi, which I think it takes about an hour to get to the nearest bridge and to that field, even though it's less than 10 miles away by air. So we'll see what I can do. I'm keeping an eye on the ever-changing sky and pattern of shadows on the ground. I'll check back with you later. Well, I've committed to crossing. I've crossed the river. Still too many clouds. You know, there can be too much of a good thing. Cumulus clouds are helpful. They point you to the lift, but when there are too many of them, they can kill the lift by their shade. So, well, I've gotten just where you can't quite see it. There's a slot in the trees out there. That's my first bailout option. And I now have what looked in satellite imagery to be a crop duster strip made in the direction I'd like to go, northeast. Crop duster strips are less than ideal, the ones like this one. It's there's a paved section that's not very long
73, contact departure, see you.
And not very wide, but it's landable. You know they use it, so looks like a safe place to land. Just probably wouldn't be a good place to self-launch. But I see some sun here, so if I get out to this sunny area, I should keep finding lift. And we'll see what I can do. And earlier that it's hard to go cross country when you're so limited in altitude like this. And what I meant by that is it's hard to get high enough to make the leap to your next safe landing option. You need altitude to get distance. So it's hard to reach the next landing place. But there's one really nice thing about low cloud base. There's a rule of thumb that says that thermals are spaced 2 to 3 times their height. So if the thermals aren't very tall, that means there are a lot more of them. So you don't have to go very far before you find the next thermal when altitudes are low. So you can stay closer to the top of lift. It doesn't necessarily, it somewhat offsets the problem of top of lift not being very high. So just wanted to make that note. Well, I've found myself on a good line. I've been able to stay above 3,000 feet for 10 minutes straight, maybe. Barely had to stop and circle. I do like to get a good peek at the cloud, you know, vertical development every now and then, and when I'm running right under clouds, a street of clouds, I don't have a good view of that, of what's ahead of me. All I can see is the bases, and I see some bases are lower. Often that happens when the cell is going to rain or already raining, so I'm trying to look out for rain, but it's visibility's fairly poor, so I can't see very far. I have to be careful for rain to sneak up on me at any minute. But so far things are going well. I'll check back with you in a bit. Well, as often happens during a cross-country flight,
LA1 traffic is a low-level air traffic.
Things have changed. Cloud base in the direction I was flying dropped about 500 feet, as if I wasn't already pinched to the ground enough. Thermals got fewer and farther between and weaker. This one's just strengthening as I say that, of course, just to try to make a liar out of me. And in the direction I wanted to go, I'll show you when I come back around if it's still visible from this close to cloud base, are some towering cloud tops that look like likely thunderstorm. That's east-southeast. I was trying to work my way that way, not anymore. So now I'm going to try to turn and go back northeast. The sky looks much more anemic in that direction, so I expect to have to work here for a bit. So I'll talk to you in a little bit. Then I'm out from under that cloud. You can see that's the towering stuff in the distance that I don't want to have anything to do with. I don't want to be anywhere near that. And that's probably, I don't know, 50 to 100 miles away. So it's not really a concern here. I just have to watch out for that happening here. And to my left, there's some pretty tall ones brewing over there. So I may try to stay in this in-between corridor and hope it's soarable while still being safe. We'll see. Well, I didn't like the look of things to the northeast. It really cleared out. So my closest decent looking clouds for getting back up were toward the big towering clouds. I was going to go that way just long enough to get higher and then turn back to the northeast. But as I approached, those clouds died until I could not reach on to the next one without getting out of reach of my safety field right now. So I turned and headed back to the field and found this thermal in the blue. I was down to 1,500 feet off the ground. I've gained only 300 feet in it so far. Who knows how much more I'll gain? It may not be much. Hopefully it'll buy me enough to reach a better looking alternative nearby, one of these maybe. I wish something would develop straight upwind within reach. That's upwind. So I'm keeping my eye on a couple of little wispies in that direction. So here it is. This is a make or break thermal. I need it to be good enough, and I need to be good enough. Well, I've gained 1,000 feet in this thermal, so that gives me options. But now I'm rethinking. Do I want to go left of the towering stuff and look? It's a long way to reconnect with the good stuff in that direction any way I go, or do I want to try to go right of it? That's south of it. So I'll show you that when I come back around. So there's west. I certainly don't want to go that way. South, the clouds are a lot closer. I just hate to be flying into some sort of boundary where bad stuff is happening. But I don't see anything scary looking in that direction for a long time, so I may try that. That's sort of southeast, maybe even south-southeast for a while. Decision point. Well, I managed to get back up in what I called my make or break thermal, and it seems like every one I've hit since then, which is only a couple, 2 or 3 worth circling, were make or break thermals. I haven't been to 3,000 feet above the ground, and I can't remember when, probably an hour. I'm just about 2,000 above the ground right now. I barely have my safe option made with a comfortable margin, so it's very limiting on where I can go to search for lift. I like that cloud, and it's very near my landing option at the moment, Indianola Airport. So I may head that way soon, but the clouds have been cycling pretty fast, so it could be that before I get there, the cloud dies. So I don't want to put all my eggs in that basket. As long as I'm climbing right here, I'm going to stay here. unless the climb rate gets so weak, so low that my arrival altitude to Indianola, which is upwind, starts deteriorating. That's about the only way I'd leave lift here. So I'm just trying to stay up is all it seems like right now, and eke my way eastward every now and then. Tough day. There's Indianola Airport. I'm about 1,400 feet above it, which means just a few hundred feet before I enter the pattern to land. Man, I'd like a thermal. It's too early to land. It's just 4 o'clock. But if I can't get back up, that's where I'll be in a few minutes. I didn't have any luck at getting up, so it looks like I must land. Bummer. Indianola traffic, glider Quebec Victor on short final for 36. I see traffic on the runway. Well, he took off toward me. How about that? No radio call. Always got to watch out. Now I'm landing in his wake. That's it.